To everyone watching here in the United States and around the world, welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. 224 people, including 25 children, killed by a bomb planted on a plane by ISIS or its affiliates. That's the latest U.S. intelligence on what took that Metrojet airliner out of the sky. Let's talk about this possible terror attack with the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff. Congressman, thanks for joining us. Have you been briefed on this incident? Is there anything new you can tell us? Does what you're being told by investigators match our reporting that the latest U.S. intelligence is that it was ISIS or an ISIS affiliate planting a bomb on this plane?
I have been briefed, and I guess I would urge people not to jump to any conclusions yet. We are still trying to confirm what the cause of the crash was. It is certainly possible that it was an explosive, but it's also possible that this was a structural problem with the plane, with the tail section of the plane. So at this point, I don't think we're prepared to draw any conclusions. But obviously, we're investigating it and directing our intelligence resources to try to determine the cause of the crash.
You were in the Sinai just a few months ago. What can you tell us about the presence of extremists, of terrorists, of even ISIS affiliates in the Sinai and their capabilities?
Well, there has been a terrorism presence there for quite some time, but it has become much more potent, much more numerous. The sophistication of the attacks, largely on the Egyptian military, have been increasing in their intensity and their scope. So there is a very substantial terrorism problem there. We've had an observer mission there as part of an agreement between Israel and Egypt for many, many years, but that's had to be significantly curtailed because of the level of threat and violence. So it is certainly an area that has become, unfortunately, a hotbed for many terrorists. And this is, undoubtedly something that the Islamic State in the Sinai would aspire to do. I don't know that they would have the capability of shooting down an aircraft, and there were some early, at least public reports that might have taken place. An aircraft at that altitude, I think that makes it very unlikely. But the sophistication required to place a bomb on an aircraft is far less substantial, and that is one of the possibilities that we have to consider.
If that proves to be correct, what U.S. officials are telling CNN, that it is most likely an ISIS or ISIS-affiliated group that placed a bomb on the plane, should this significantly alter national security thinking?
Well, it would certainly alter, I think, the precautions that airlines in the region would have to take, what we would be advising our own travelers potentially in the region. In terms of our efforts in Egypt, in Syria, and Iraq, it probably doesn't change that very much. The biggest impact, though, may be on Russia. If ultimately there's some confirmation that ISIS did bring this plane back, bring it down rather, the question would be what impact would that have on Putin, on the Russian psyche, on their willingness to commit even greater forces to the conflict. That may be the biggest question mark if that's the case. But again, I'd caution your viewers not to jump to any conclusions at this point. We'll know a lot more when those black boxes are analyzed.
All right. Adam Schiff, Congressman from the House Intelligence Committee. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Much more on